Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Today we're going to be doing part 4 of our Fundamentals of Blacksmithing series, and we are going to be working on bending. Thanks for watching. Okay, so there's essentially only 2 different types of bends in blacksmithing. We're going to be going over the first one, which is called a sharp bend. These are particularly the hardest type of bend to achieve in blacksmithing. They require a little bit of technique. Now, some of the techniques that they require is that you've got to constantly be moving the material and keeping it on an edge, such as the sharp edge of my anvil, and they require some different blows of the hammer. So they require edge blows like so, and they require back face blows like so to create these sharp corners. Now this can also be done in the vise, or it can be done at the edge of the anvil like you see here. The main purpose, the biggest requirements in doing these sharp corners like this is to make sure that you don't get a bunch of bouncing or hit directly on the corner as to create a gall in the interior of that corner. They can be dressed out like so, and just like so. Now, this is not to be confused with an upset square corner. An upset square corner is moving material into the corner. So you usually would upset the piece first, then bend it, and then work the material into the corner, so this way the outside of the corner would be just as square as the inside of the corner. This is still under the guidelines of a sharp bend. Now this is the Fundamentals of Blacksmithing series. We will get into advanced techniques at a later date. Fundamentally though, there's only 2 types of bends. There's a sharp bend, and then there's a loose bend, and I'm going to show you both those in practicality. Sharp bends are very handy for anything like brackets that you need to be making, tool holders, rests, things of that nature, to frame out a piece, stuff like that. They're very handy today, can be had. The trick to doing a good sharp corner, though, is getting everything nice and square. So square in this plane, square in this plane, and square in this plane. That's the toughest part of a really nice sharp corner. Loose corners, or loose bends, are a little easier to do, or a lot easier to do, as what I'm about to show is I'm going to go ahead and scroll this up. And essentially a scroll is nothing more than one really big loose bend. Now, it's a lot easier when I say that because you are not trying to make it very specific and at one spot, and it's easier on the material. A good sharp corner like this puts a lot of stress right here in the corner of the material, as where a long bend spreads the stress all the way across the entire piece. And so that's what we're going to try to focus on next, is I'm going to go ahead and start showing you what a loose bend will look like in practicality and in use. Okay, so here is a loose bend now in practicality. Now, when I've come up with this, I thought to myself, everybody knows how to bend stuff, Roy. And they know what bending is for. You shouldn't have to say this a whole lot and have all this figured out for people. But the thing is I'm trying to show and showcase to people exactly what can be achieved with the different things. If you understand the principles behind your forging work and you get good at each and every last one of these things, whether it be a sharp bend or loose bending, and you understand what it is that is happening and what you're going for and you can call out these different call signs, you can be able to look at other ironwork and you will be able to replicate it because you will understand what each process took along the way. Bending, it obviously implies bending something. I think everybody who's ever been through any sort of education would understand that. So don't get me wrong in this video. This video is very rudimentary. But the points that I'm pointing out here is understanding very well in the fundamentals of knowing how to do a sharp bend first and foremost. And then being able to do a very loose bend. Knowing how to do that. And then being able to apply that into a project like a scroll. A loose bend for a scroll, in a 90 degree. This can very easily now become a bracket for something. Maybe a rack, a steel. You can create just about anything if you understand what it takes to make the type of ironwork that you're going for. Whether it be a hard, sharp bend like this, whether it be a nice radius bend like this, and understanding that a scroll takes loose bends and not sharp bends, knowing that how much material is in a sharp bend versus a loose bend, all these things are critical to your progression as a smith, especially if you're just starting out. A lot of the times, more experienced smiths, we forget that these fundamentals, they are so key to our development. So please learn the fundamentals very well. So I hope everybody liked this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay. You're probably already gone anyhow, but give it a thumbs down if you made it this far and you disliked the video. And make sure to keep checking back for the other parts in this series. Like I said, this is part 4. This is part 4 of our 7-part fundamental series on blacksmithing, and I'll look for you all in the next video. Thank you all for watching this. God bless you, and we'll catch you on the next one.